Every woman has experienced catcalling at some stage of her life.
When I was about 10 or 11 years old, I would go to London New Year's Eve fireworks with my family.
I was 14, and some 35 years later, I can still feel that sense of shame and humiliation from that moment if I think of this memory.
The first time I can remember experiencing being catcalled was when I was 15.
And I remember being very scared on my own. 11 years old, young, scrawny. I mean, you wouldn't stand a chance sort of fighting them off.
I was 16 years old, and it was one normal day. As usual, I was walking to my school, which was near my home.
Me and my friends were walking home from school. It's two other girlfriends. And our last lesson we'd had was PE. So we were still in our PE kits, which was like shorts, PE top.
I once had to go for one function and I was wearing jeans maybe 7 years ago.
When I was 18, I moved to Paris. It was the first time I was living away from home and first time living in another country.
I was about 24 and I was walking near the Eiffel Tower in the middle of the daytime on like a Sunday.
And I went for a walk to the park. There were some guys sitting on the benches by the road, and they were checking me out from the distance.
And there was a group of guys that were working on a construction site.
And a group of men were walking towards me. They stopped, and one of them said very loudly, "You've got a huge pair of tits."
Quite often I'd walk up to the train station to catch the train home. And I remember several occasions where a van or a car would start to drive very slowly next to me and start shouting all sorts of things.
A car slowed down by us and one man leant out the window with his phone and started filming us and yelled,
"Your eyes are beautiful." I decided to ignore him. He followed me for several blocks.
And I walked down this road for a 40-minute walk, and I'm not joking, I got catcalled by 50 men in a row.
It was early in the morning, and so there were not too many people in the streets, and every single guy I walked past would call me names and
shouting at me to show my pussy.
All of a sudden, I hear this beeping out of nowhere, and it honestly really scared me. There was this big van that drives past with 3 men in it, shouting, "Oi, oi, nice legs."
And I was groped a couple of times, and being so young, I felt disgusted, I felt vulnerable, I felt scared, I felt unprotected.
I was holding my partner's hand. The energy sort of shifted because they all realized there was a woman there. And suddenly you could just sort of hear them making remarks.
I could hear them shouting things like, "Oi, oi, look who's coming." One of them was saying, "Oh, I think you can come and work out over here."
For that 20-minute walk there to the chip shop, I had around 3 or 4 men kind of hanging out of their cars and shouting just really weird remarks to me like, "Oh, where are you going, love?"
And this guy just ran past me and slapped my ass as if my body was his property.
And then suddenly he grabbed me and he hugged me and he started telling me nasty things in my ear. My first reaction was like to push him and try to run away. He followed me until the entrance of my school.
It happens on a daily basis. And I think now, if anything, what annoys me is people's entitlement, more specifically men's entitlement to women and their bodies.
This is a power play, like it's an assertion of dominance. You're not even given the chance to react. It's like taking that away from you. So therefore it is a power thing in like a cowardly mask.
It did impact me. I would think very carefully about what I wore.
I then had to plan my whole route of how I was going to get back, trying to avoid this certain street, even though it was the main street back to my house.
Many guys maybe don't get a proper sense of what it's like for us, because when they're with us, these things just don't happen. They happen a lot more when we're alone.
Not a single person stopped, and nobody saw a girl walking alone and thought, "I'm going to help this girl."
I don't think they realised the gravity of what they were saying, in that they were just ruining one of my favourite things to do.